Hello, welcome to a tutorial on how to use Mars's multiplayer Photon FPS kit. So this is adding proning. Three scripts we have to edit. Play behavior. Lots of stuff in boots on ground. And default input manager. So I'll start off with input manager. The only edit in here that I remembered having to do, yes, the only edit is creating a new pb.input. This right here, pb.input.prone. So I'm just gonna, I'll put everything in the description because I'll be putting it on this notepad. So I'll just put all the lines if you want them, so that it's, and you can make this inside the quotations whatever you want, and in input manager you have to create a new input exactly with that name how you typed it out. Next is I'll do play behavior. The only thing we have to create is public bool and prone. So all this will be available in the description. It's the only thing we have to add. And then we have a lot of stuff to add in boots on ground. So we have to create this last prone. There. I'll do that right there. There you go. So yes, we do have to do last prone. So it's pretty much like last crouch, but it's prone. So what we're doing pretty much is copying everything that is related with crouch and redoing it. And that's all we have for this. Oh, actually, wait, this is boots on ground, isn't it? That's not all we have, never mind. So our states are 1, 0, 1, 2. So 0 being standing, 1 being crouching, 2 being proning. Okay. So where it's all this tooltip stuff, you want to create a new line with that line of code right there. So hopefully that helps. So there's that. Here you go. And you can leave that value 6F, just as 6F, and then all this can be changed in game information. Sorry about that. Wait, did I do the wrong one? No, prone speed. Okay. Next, in this character heights, we have to create a new one for proning. So I'll just use what I normally do, and then I can show you what else I do. And for cam position, there. So all this stuff pretty much pasted under the couch, and you can just look back and see what I've done. So some of this animator stuff, I'm not very good with the animator. I legit haven't learned it, so I pretty much just figured it out myself. So I'm not amazing with the animator, so the transitions that I have done are pretty, they're not very nice. So next, in the region input, where's the next thing that we have to do? Here. Oh no, it's not in input, is it? So it just if data state part. You see the crouching else if. You want to now create a proning else if and set data state to 2. So yes. as I have said, all this stuff will be in the description for you to access. So hopefully it will help you. So the next part we have is, I created a new region, as you see, called prone input. So we have this crouch input region, and we also have to do an edit in there with this. So right underneath the first else if, paste this data state, or just copy and paste that else if underneath itself, and change 1 to 2 and 0 to 1. That's in the crouching section. I'm just going to change all that later. And then create a new region. Pretty much copy this entire region of the crouch input. Just all that. Copy it and paste it again. So you have a new region, prone input. And change everything with crouch to prone. Pretty much. And if it has a capital C for crouch, then put a capital P. If it doesn't, like here, don't put a capital P. And then with all this state stuff, you should have 1 if and 2 else ifs. You'll see that it pretty much goes 0, 2, 2, 0, 1, 2. And then down here in this area, it would have a 1 there, change that to a 2. Character height, this part. You have this little prone section. So, just pretty much change the 2 prone heights. Crouch height to prone height. Next, I think that's almost everything. I think that actually is everything. So I believe that is everything involving scripting. Next, we want to go into input and create a new input called how you spell prone. Okay, like that's how I spell prone. And I wanted to use left control, so if you want to use left control as well for proning, on the crouch it had an alt positive button as prone, as left control, so I removed that. Next, so this is the harder part. Lots of stuff to do with the animator. So what you want is your own prone animations. I do recommend going to mixmo.com, signing with an Adobe account, and getting their animations, forward, fire, all that. Idle, left, right. So all you actually need is forward, back, left and right. These left and right ones are a bit dodgy, but yeah. And then we want to go into the and make sure they're all on humanoid. And if you don't know how to change it to humanoid, right here, just the main thing in rig. Make sure it's humanoid and then click apply, because it starts off as generic. Next we need to go into animators and kit player animator. This one right here. And you're going to do the same for rifle and pistol. I haven't done the one on pistol because it takes a long time to do, and I was just testing it. But you'll see that it's a bit confusing, all these. If you haven't used the animator, it's pretty confusing. So much stuff. It's a bit, yeah. It might be a bit confusing. What the hell? Okay. So we want to create 3 new states called prone idle. So it can just be a plain state, prone idle, aim walk, hip walk. Okay. I'll actually show you how to do it though. Here, 3 states. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam. Don't need that. So, aim walk, idle, hip walk. Prone. Prone, idle. Let's see, prone, hip walk. And prone, aim walk. So if you have your own, so if you just want to use the same like ones that just it's holding a rifle, then just use the same animations. But if you want actual ones with the character holding a pistol, then do the different stuff in the pistol layer. Pretty much everything has to link to everything. So in the idle, you put your idle animation. Okay, so I'll do that just so you can watch me do it in case you don't know what you're doing. So there. And then for these, we want to right click on both of them and blend tree in state. And in the blend tree, we want to add 5 things. 3, 4, 5. That's right. Idle. Forward. Back. Left and right. So those are the 5 things you want to add, so it works properly in both blend trees. So of course, if you have animations where the character's actually aiming in, you would change it, but I don't, so I would just use the same ones. And then my thing's frozen. Is it? Yeah, it's frozen. No, it's not. Okay, it's fixed. And then we want to do for this blend tree, let's see. We want to make it 2D simple directional, and these two walk X and walk Z. Pretty much change it up. So for idle, you leave it alone. Forward, I think it's 1 on Y. Back is -1. Right is 1. Left is -1 on X. So it should look like, and then it should look like this. So you see it'll be cycling in between. Yeah. So pretty. But anyway, there we go. So that's all we want to do in the blend tree. So I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible. And then transitions. I'm not going to show you all the transitions, but I'll just teach you how to do them. So for the transition, we want something like for all of them, where it goes, transition goes there, and transition comes back. Sorry about that. In them, we've got animations like that. Okay, we don't want it to be that long. If you know how to use the animator, good. But I'm not going to give you a tutorial on using the animator because I don't know myself. But we just want, that takes too long personally, but we just want some kind of transition. I'm not sure if you can use like animations as transitions. If so, that'd be lovely. But I don't know any of this. And then in the transitions, you see that we have conditions. So the 3 conditions you want to know about: walk speed, aiming, and state. So these are the only ones you need to know, at least for this stuff. So what we want to do with each of them, I'll just explain them. Aiming, the 2 options are true or false. It means these are pretty much saying this will be able to transition if these conditions are met. So let's say if this was going to an aiming animation, it would require that you are aiming. Okay. State, you should know what the states are, 0, 1 and 2. Stand, crouch, prone. So the state, so you would always want it at equals. Remember that. And it's pretty much, it's meant for things like transferring between the states. So idle to crouch or idle to prone. And you would want to change the state to the target. So let's say if I was going from idle to prone idle, it would be 2. Because the state that we're changing to is 2. And walk speed is greater or less. It's saying it's used, so if you're going into an idle animation or something like that, you would use less than 0.5 or 0.1. It's saying that the idle animation will play if our movement speed is less than 0. Or whatever it is, or that's what the condition is, or greater, let's say for a sprint animation, greater than 7 as a speed would play, because if you're walking it won't play a sprint animation, will it? So I'll show you a few examples. So there's also, why is there 2 walk speed? So, oh yeah, you can create 2 walk speed so it's a bit more precise. So let's say within a certain range, instead of from 0.1 to infinity, it would be between 0.1 and 8. So here's a few examples. Let's say to sprint, from crouching to sprinting. So the state you're going to is standing, so that state equals 0. And the walk speed is, for the sprint animation to play, you have to be going at a speed greater than 7. I'm not sure if it's 7 miles or whatever it is. I'm not sure what that is. Or from moving crouching to crouching, the state has to equal 1, because that's the crouching state, and your movement speed has to be less than 0.5. So, and then you pretty much just link everything together like this, and make sure that you did ones back, and it should run correctly, and I'll show you what it will look like. So about my ugly UI. Let's let it load. I'm just using the same guns for demonstration, but crouch. So I'm pressing control. So what got them. So the animations are a bit clunky, but this is all just going to be tuned. So I'm definitely going to decrease the move speed, because it looks a bit odd. Also, that's not looping, is it? No, it's not. It's not looping. So I know why that's happening. But the animations will look much cleaner once you have to fiddle with it a bit. And if you want to know how to fiddle with those speeds, let's go to generic boots on ground. So settings that I have, prone speed 2.5, I'm changing that to 1.5. Prone height is 0.6, and the cam pos 0.3 and 0. And then the footsteps is, I don't really have a set footstep thing. But yes, that hopefully helps you. And if you want to know how to fix that it's not looping problem, we go into our animation. So I'm going to find my, let's just close off these animations. So it's my left and right. It's in animation, loop time, and just make that original. It works better. it works a bit better in positioning, or position wise. And original. So hopefully that fixes it, and I'll show you what it looks like in first person as well. I just use third person to see how the animations work. So I don't think proning's integrated to the bots yet, but this is all made by me, so yeah, I'm probably not the most sure. Yeah, this looks a bit smoother, you see. And all the colliders will have to be fixed, but yeah, the side moving is the problem. I don't have any good animations, but it will look better depending on what animations you use. What I've also set it to is, you'll see how about these transitions, I don't do stuff like this, but if you press, let's say, control while you're crouching, it takes you to proning. Press C while you're proning, takes you to crouching. Also, if you try to jump, it'll take you to standing. Oh my god, I'm super speed. And this is what it looks like in first person, by the way. And also, I don't think you can lean. That's what it looks like trying to lean. It's a bit dodgy. But all this stuff can be changed. Because it is a kit, isn't it? This is what it pretty much looks like in first person. So, try meme on someone. Yes, hope this works for you, and enjoy your new prone system. And hopefully I'll be able to keep this thing updated. So yes. Good day, people. Good day.